Oh wow, Nightmare Fuel. He kind of looks like Salt Bae, right? Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Snoop Dogg. Oh wow. All right. Let's test this out. Oh man, that. No. Hey everyone, today we're going to be doing something interesting. According to YouTube's analytics, a lot of you are interested in things that have to do with Ebsynth, and I have something that I've been meaning to talk about for a while, but this new extension has been released that made the workflow what I wanted to do a lot easier. And so I want to talk about that workflow. And what I'm talking about is this thing called Temporalkit. Temporalkit uses a technique that I've seen before, but it required more manual work. First time I heard about it was from this person that goes by Tokyo Jab. The technique consists of grabbing keyframes from an image sequence and putting them on a grid, then running that through Stable Diffusion. When you do this, Stable Diffusion will give you very consistent results for each of the frames on the grid. Then you divide the stylized frames in the grid into individual frames and put them into Ebsynth to get some really cool results. So I want to recognize Tokyo Jab for introducing me to this technique. And I was going to make a video about this, but now that we have Temporalkit, the process has become so much easier now. And I want to give a special shout out to the developer, Ciara or Kira. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. She's been super supportive whenever I reached out to ask questions, and I had a lot of questions. So go follow her on Twitter to catch some updates and guides. And she's also been sharing a bunch of work other people have done using Temporalkit. So go check her out. So I'm going to be talking about that today. I'm going to talk about how to install this, and we're going to experiment a little bit and see what kind of results we can get with this. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So here's the GitHub page for Temporalkit, and I will put this link in the description. According to this, you have to install FFmpeg. I didn't know what this was, so I had to Google it, and I found this channel right here, Troubleshoot. And this person shows you how to install it, and I'm going to teach you how to install it too. He has other methods inside of this that is helpful if my method is not working. So if you want to check this person out, you can always check him out. I will put the link in the description for his channel. So what you want to do first, you want to go to FFmpeg, and you're going to click on download. You want to click on this window icon right here, and then you click on Windows built from Gian.dev. You click on that, and then you're going to arrive in this page, and you want to go down to where it says release builds. So I downloaded the 7-zip file. You might have to download 7-zip yourself. If you go to this website right here, I'll put the link in the description. You can download the latest version of 7-zip. So once you've downloaded it, you want to extract it. I'm going to show more options because I don't have the option there. I got 7-zip right here. I'm going to go to extract files, and then I press OK. So once I've extracted, I'm going to go into the folder here, and I want to get 3 files from the bin folder right here. If you click on your Windows key and you press E, you're going to open a new folder, and then you're going to go to your C drive. I know my drive is almost full. I got to clean it up. You go in here and you want to create a new folder, and you can call it path_programs. And this is where you're going to put these 3 files from the bin folder that you just opened earlier. You grab these 3 folders, you Control-C to copy, come to the path folder, and then you're going to press Control-V to paste it. All right, so I'm going to close this window, but you keep the path window open still. You're going to press the window key again, and you're going to type in path. And then you want to click on Edit the System Environment Variables. And then you click on here where it says Environment Variables. You want to click here where it says Path, and then you're going to press edit. And here I already have my path saved, but you are going to put new, and then come back to your path folder, and you want to copy the location of this. So you just click here, Control-C to copy. You can bring this down, and then you're going to paste it right here. Mine's already there, so I'm not going to paste it. And then after that, you just press OK, OK, and then that should be it. If you press the Windows key and you press CMD and then choose Command Prompt, if you type in FFmpeg, it's going to give you a bunch of information. So I believe this can confirm whether installed properly or not. There's no errors or anything. And that's it. So that's how you install that. So now that I have that, I'm going to open Stable Diffusion. I'm going to come here to Extensions, Install from URL, and then come back to the GitHub page, press code, and then you want to copy this URL. You copy it, come back here into Stable Diffusion, and you're going to paste it right here.
then you install. Once you install, it should appear here, and then you just apply and restart. If you want it to check for updates first, you can check for updates, and then you can apply and restart UI. Once you've done that, you're gonna get this tab up here where it says Temporalkit. And this is where the fun starts. All right, so let's do this. So we're gonna come here to where it says Temporalkit, and we have all our setup right here with all the settings. So we wanna bring in a clip into this. And in this case, I'm gonna get a clip that I got from Storyblocks. And it's of this old guy just kind of bobbing his head with some headphones. So originally it was a 16:9, but I'm gonna do it a 1:1 just because it's gonna allow me to make the height and width bigger together instead of having a big width and less height. I think when I make it into 1:1, it allows me to expand it and make the quality better. You can obviously do this in a 16:9 as well. Just for demonstration's sakes, I'm gonna do it on a 1:1. All right, so we have all our settings right here, right? Let me just run this so you can see what it does. So I wanna make sure I click on Ebsynth mode. I'm gonna come here to settings. I'm gonna go to batch run, okay? And here in target folder is where everything's going to be saved. So let's create a folder. So I created this folder. I called it Temporalkit. I'm gonna copy that location and I'm gonna put it into here. All right, so everything's going to be saved there. There's a few things I want to pay attention to. The frames per second. This video is 25 frames per second. Every 5 frames is going to make a keyframe. So for those who are not familiar with Ebsynth and how it works, basically you choose a video and you create an image sequence out of it. In that image sequence, you have all the frames of the video and you're going to pick out specific frames. These are your keyframes. Maybe you pick out every 5 frames or 10 frames, whatever you want. Then you make copies of those keyframes, put them into another folder, then you're going to apply a style to them, either style transfer or something that you generated in Stable Diffusion. Once you add a style to those keyframes, you're going to put those keyframes and the original image sequence into Ebsynth. Ebsynth will then generate a brand new image sequence that is completely stylized. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. In this case, we have frames per keyframe. Right here, we have 5. So here, every 5 frames will become a keyframe. So if we have 25 frames per second, that means it will create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keyframes per second. So in total, for this 5-second video, we're going to have 25 keyframes. So the only problem is that Ebsynth allows a max of 20 keyframes to be generated every time. But there is a solution to this if you put here split video. In this case, I'm not going to use it, but if you have a long video, like a 1-minute video, you can put split video. And what it'll do, it will divide keyframes and create new folders for every 20 keyframes. So you can generate this to Ebsynth several times. And at the end, Temporalkit will analyze all those folders and then make one video for you. And you won't have to try to piece everything together manually. It does it all for you, which is amazing. For this video, it's a very short video, so I'm gonna make it only 20 keyframes. So in order to do this, I have to increase the frames per keyframe, but then also I will have less keyframes in the video. So let me just show you in a practical way how this works. So I'm gonna put 6 here for now, and then I'm gonna come up here and press run. All right, so once you press run, it's going to create all these folders for you in the folder that you had created earlier, the one that you had put here in your target folder. And then if you come to inputs, it's going to show you all your keyframes in this grid, as you can see. So each one of these is every 6 frames of the video. Now I can tell that it's not going all the way to the end because I could tell there's some frames missing here at the end. What I need to do is I need to increase it one more time. Let's put 7 and let me run it again. All right. Okay. I think this might be good enough. So now these are every 7 frames. So 7, 14, so on and so forth. I'm bad at math, sorry. So I want to mention 2 sides. So what does this do? The sides is basically the square root of the number of frames that are going to be in your grid here. So if I put 2, you're going to get 4 frames. If I put 3 and I run it, it's going to create 9. If you make 4, it's going to make 16. And then what we're going to do with these, we're going to run these through Stable Diffusion. When you put this as one image into Stable Diffusion and you make this person look like, for example, a medieval warrior, then it's going to look almost identical in all the frames here. And then when you come to the second frame, it's going to give you different results because it's a whole new frame. Obviously, ControlNet helps out with this a little bit, and we're going to go over that. It'll give you different style depending on your settings, like the denoising strength, ControlNet, your prompts, whether you trained it on a specific character or not. So that all those things apply to this. So the benefit of generating all these frames together is that you're going to get a very consistent result. The problem is that now you're working with really small squares. So when Temporalkit grabs each one of these frames and makes them big again, then the quality is not going to be as good. So that's the downside of that. So you got to try to find a balance and try to figure out what the best settings are. So for me, I want it to be as high quality as possible. And I might sacrifice consistency because of that, but you know, it's okay. So I'm going to make the sides into 2, and then I'm going to run it. So now again, I have for each frame 4 images. Let's put it into practice. All right, so once you're done with this, we're going to go to image, and we're gonna bring in one of these right here. And we wanna come up with some results and see what we can do, and then we're gonna run it through batch right here. Let me get some prompts that I normally use. So illustration of this is the go-to cyberpunk robot, right? Let's see what that gives me. I come down here, I have to lock in a seed, but for now I have to run it first. So let me actually just run it. Okay, I just ran it. It's not giving me good results, but it's okay. I just wanted to lock in a seed. So I come here to lock it, and it's going to lock that. And I'm going to go to ControlNet, and I'm gonna enable Canny here, and then I'm going to go to a second ControlNet. I'm going to enable HED, and I'm gonna bring these down a little bit. I have videos about how these work, and I go a little bit more deeper into it. There should be a link above directing YouTube video about that. My denoising strength is pretty strong. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, and let's run it one more time. All right. Yeah, this doesn't look so good. Maybe I have to bring down the canning slightly. Let me just test that out. Oh, wow. Nightmare fuel. Great. Yeah, cyborg with robot wearing glasses and headphones. Oh, nice. He's starting to look a little bit more dark skinned though. But you notice that each of these almost looks identical in the style. And this is the benefit of doing it this way. The only problem is that the moment you add a second frame, it's going to give you a different result, unfortunately. Let's see, how different is it? So I wanted to compare them actually and show you that although they look similar, they are different. You can see here, these look similar to each other, and these look similar to each other here. The problem is that when you have them separated like these, you get a slight difference. Like the beard is a little bit more white. He's missing a little bit more hair in this one. The color of the headphones are different. So that's the downside of separating them like these. If these images were included into this, you will all have them looking the same. So this is like a fight between quality and consistency, and also the amount of style. So what you can do to solve this issue too is you can bring down the denoising strength, and then that will help a little bit with the consistency. I don't know why he's coming out brown like that, but it's definitely adding a style to it. I'm not really getting the cyborg robot though. So let me mess around with the prompt a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna change the prompt drastically. Let's see. Oh my God, what am I looking at? Let me see, let me bring the style up. Also, let me actually bring the height and the width higher. Ah, nice. Like, he looks like way younger here. That looks cool. He kind of looks like Salt Bay, right? Let me go back to the first one. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, so it looks pretty consistent. I mean, it is different. I'm gonna go ahead and just go and run with this for now, and then maybe we can experiment later. But this is just to demonstrate how this works. So now what we do is, you have all the folders here. You want to go into your input. You want to copy the location of this, Control C, then come to input directory. You paste it there. You go to Temporalkit, and then you go to output, copy that, and then paste it in output directory here in this batch tab right here. And then you generate it. So what's going to do is going to generate each one of the images that you had in your input. I don't know why it's starting to save the ControlNet images as well. It never was doing that before, but maybe my settings changed or something. But you can delete these ControlNet images if they're popping up. Now that you're done with that, you're going to come back into Temporalkit. You're going to go to Ebsynth process, and you're going to come back to your temporal folder, and you're going to copy that folder, the main folder, not any of these here,
And just paste it here in input folder.
and then you're going to put read last settings, and it's going to load up the video. It's going to load up some settings here, and then you're going to put prepare for Ebsynth, and then you click on that. And I love this. It does so much of the work for you. It's going to start to create an image sequence, but also it's going to divide all these frames into individual frames, which typically you would have to do it manually, but now it does it for you. It's amazing. I love it. It got these images here and made them into individual keyframes here. So as you see, his eyebrows are up here. It's kind of weird. But what you have to do now, very simple. You open Ebsynth. By the way, Ebsynth is totally free. There's a link in the description where you can download it. We have keyframes here and we got video. What we want to do is we want to get the frames here, put it into video, and we want to get keys into keyframes. Then it's going to create all these outputs. It typically creates the output in the same folder, so you should be good. You can just run it all, and it's going to create a bunch of folders in here for you. And in these folders, you're going to have a bunch of frames with the style that you just created. Since there's a lot of folders, it's going to take some time to generate. So as soon as this is done, you got to just simply press recombine Ebsynth. It's going to generate. Done. Easy peasy. Right? So now let's look at the results. Hopefully it's not horrible. All right. So let me click on this. Yeah. this actually reminds me of like Stan Lee or something. Nice. That looks really cool, right? You're gonna be like, no, that looks horrible, man. Hey, don't judge me. But this doesn't look too far from this one, right? I mean, it's stylized, definitely. But I want to push the style a little more. So let's mess around with the prompts. Oh, that looks pretty cool. This looks like more comic book looking. You know what? He kind of in this image, he kind of reminds me a little bit of like Snoop Dogg. Let me actually see if I can make him look like Snoop Dogg actually. Oh, wow. Oh, that's crazy. That actually looks sick. Let me try this. All right. So let's test this out. Let's see what it looks like. Oh my god, that looks so cool. Oh man, that's so funny. Damn, that doesn't look too bad. It actually looks like Snoop Dogg. That's Snoop Dogg. But there's qualities in the original video that make the generated output work for this personality. So yeah, that's really interesting. It's really cool. Here's some other results I got. This looks like salt bait. Again, I actually tried making a video where I made a grid like this and just try to get the most consistent style I can get. And this is what I got. As you can see, this is very consistent, but the quality is trash, man. That's the downside when you make the grids like this small, is that your quality gets really, really low. I think the only way is if you can somehow, if you have enough power to blast this all the way up, then maybe you would get like a quality that's high enough to where it can look clean. Here's another one where I did something similar. Like this looks quite consistent. Look at that. Yeah, this looks very consistent. The only problem is the quality. The quality dips drastically the more frames you put per plate. Yeah, that's something that you have to take into account. That's probably the fastest way you can use Ebsynth when you have that many keyframes. Now, if you want to work on a video that's a little bit longer and you want some more keyframes, you can bring in that video. In this case, I have this video that's 30 seconds and it's also different dimensions. You create the folder, you paste target folder in there, put batch run, and then this time you're gonna put split video right here in Ebsynth settings. You wanna also click on Ebsynth here, and your max keyframes, if you put -1, it's gonna do the amount of keyframes for the entire duration of the video. If you want it to not last the entire video, then you would just put the amount that you want. Once you're done, it's gonna look a little different than how it looked in my shorter video that I just explained earlier. It's going to give you a bunch of folders with numbers on there, and every folder is an Ebsynth group. So if you come into folder 0, you're going to have these inputs. If you come to folder 1, you're gonna have some other inputs, and it just keeps going until the video is done. And inside this input folder, you have all the grids together here instead of divided. So this is what you're gonna run through Stable Diffusion's batch, and then Temporalkit will distribute that batch into all these other folders. So let's try that. Let's go to image. Let's bring in one image here, hit the dimensions. I'm just gonna put whatever. I'm gonna put like Batman. Gonna put a ControlNet. You wanna make sure you have a seed that you wanna lock in. So let me just run it once so that I can get a seed. Then you have this image that you're like, oh, this looks amazing, great. All right, so let's lock that seed right there. And then let's go to batch. Let's get this input into here, input directory. Let's go out here. Let's put this output into output directory and let's run it. Once the batch is done generating, you should have all the generated images here in output. So now you come back to Temporalkit. Let's copy the target folder because we're gonna need it. We go to Ebsynth process, paste the input folder here. Then we click on read last settings. It should give you all the settings you need. And then you click on prepare Ebsynth. What's going to start to happen now is that in each of these folders, you're gonna have image sequences come in. So now we're just gonna wait till it fully processes. So once it's done processing, we wanna open up Ebsynth. And then you're going to run each of these folders into Ebsynth one at a time. In this case, we're going to bring in our frames into video, and we're gonna put our keys into keyframes. You're gonna run all, and then you're gonna have all these folders in this folder here. So we're gonna do this exact process that I just did here for each one of these folders. So once 0 is done, you're gonna go into 1, you're gonna bring in frames, keys, run it. 2, frames, keys, run it. I don't know if there's a way to refresh this every time, but I don't want to risk it, so I'm just going to restart Ebsynth. And again, I'm going to run this. Once you've run all the Ebsynth groups, all you got to do is click on recombine Ebsynth. And what that's going to do, it's going to combine everything you just ran automatically, and it's going to make it into one video. That was pretty quick. Now it's done, and let's play back. See what it looks like. Okay. It looks like trash, but it's not because of Temporalkit. It's because I was rushing this. And also, you want to make sure that this is the right width and height, because if it's off, it's going to make your video off. So in this case, I didn't really check what the width and height is. I just try to guess it, like just by looking at this. This is not accurate. You want to make sure that you got the exact width and height. I just wanted to show you how it works and you can make it better. This is me just rushing. Oh man, it looks so bad. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every one of you. Please like, comment, subscribe. That really helps me out. And yeah. Until next time, like always, take care. God bless. Peace.